Okay. Re-recording? No. Okay. All right. So tonight, obviously, we're going to be talking about time management and how to get organized and maximize your time and your results in your business with Ali Rogaszewski. Couple of announcements, and I know I'm missing a few. Carl's going to be starting a Summer Strong Challenge group, which these are always kind of a fun way for us to plug into with the CEO and with some of the trainers. And I'm sure that he'll have prizes and contests and that kind of thing. I'm not one that typically puts my challengers into this group just because it can be super overwhelming because it's like thousands and thousands of people in there. But it's always fun for us to hop into and kind of see what's going on and getting more ideas. They just announced that there's now a digital product catalog. I've never even had a paper one. So for those of you new coaches that are always asking what other things we offer, this would be a great thing. If you go in your Coach Online office, it's going to show you how to download it. Next week is the Beachbody Cruise. I will be going. I'm super excited. But, you know, I really am already looking forward to next year and Dominican Republic and having all of you there with me. Yes, I'm excited to go by myself, but not really, because it's just going to be so much more enjoyable to have all of Team Persevere there. And so if you are not on the wait list for the Dominican Republic, then go get on it right now. You don't have to do anything. You just put your name on the wait list. And remember, every Success Club point that you earns you trip dollars. And it doesn't take, it literally takes just being consistent with our 3 vital behaviors and helping at least 3 people a month to have it completely paid for. So go do that. So for new coaches, if you are, you know, just hopping on and have no idea what I'm talking about, just know that you need to get on the wait list. Same thing with the Summit wait list. Non-negotiable. It's a game changer for your business. All that went last year can tell you. I'll reiterate it until we, you know, get to Summit. But get on the wait list if you're not there already. And if you're a new coach that's working for Success Starters and your free ticket, then keep up the good work. Because I will be on the cruise next week, what we are going to do for the team call is I will have a pre-recorded call training. And so I will have it scheduled to post in our group at the same time as our normal team call at 9 o'clock. And I would love for you guys to hop on, watch it, and then post your 3 takeaways in the comment section of where I posted on the Team Persevere page. And I'll also send it in the weekly newsletter that I send out every week. So if for some reason you happen to miss it in the group, you'll have it both in your email and in the group. But if you guys would, you know, hop on just like we normally would and share your 3 takeaways, and then you guys can kind of help each other throughout, you know, that 30 minutes or so that it normally is. The last thing is while I'm gone, you guys should be promoting for the business opportunity. And what that is we're changing things up this month. And instead of doing the normal 3 to 5 day sneak peek that we normally do, we're going to change things up and try something new. And so we are going to do a business opportunity event, which means on Thursday the 24th, we're going to have a 2-hour time period from 7 to 9 where we have an event, and we're going to post videos and information every 10 to 15 minutes and interact with those that are interested. And then we'll end with a 45-minute business opportunity call. We'll hop on like this, and any of our coaching prospects will hop on, and we'll kind of go through the business and what we do as coaches and really highlight the important things. So remember that it takes about a week to really post about it and gain some momentum. We can't just post once. So really, I encourage you guys to do that while I'm gone, is, you know, be posting about that opportunity and sprinkling things in each and every day. And I know, especially we have so many new coaches on here, and I'm sure a lot of you are going, well, I don't know what I'm doing, so how can I invite someone else? You know, that's where we always talk about the walking side by side kind of thing. It's not a you and me, and it's a let's do this together kind of thing. And so if you're having fun already, why not invite other people to have fun with and take a look, because we're going to go over everything that they need to know and, you know, give them all the information. And as you guys know, we're here to help support each other as one large fit family.
I'm coming in a minute.
If you're just hopping onto the call and you're not muted, go ahead and make sure that you're muted yourself so that we can make sure We can hear Allie. All right, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Allie. Allie is our guest speaker tonight. She is going to be talking about how to manage your time and be effective with your business. Let me mute myself and take it away.
Sure. Hi, everyone.
Oh, I forgot really quick. Last thing is I forgot to welcome all the new coaches. We have so many. Tamisha, Sean, Willie, Eric, Julie, Callie, Jenna, Kaylee, and Amanda. Welcome to the team call. We're super excited to have you if this is your first call. And really just plug in to all of us and ask lots of questions, and we're here to help. All right, ma'am, take it away.
So cool. Hi, everyone. My name, like Monica said, is Allie Rogaszewski. It's so fun to see so many new faces on here. And obviously new people, like I just said, that are joining us. And so just a little bit about me. I was a teacher and a coach for 10 years and down in Dallas. And then recently I moved up to Wisconsin to be closer to family. And I have twin 20-month-olds. And so I am now staying home with them full time. And so this kind of leads into what I want to talk about just at the beginning here. You guys are all super busy. We're all super busy and have so many things going on. You all have a full schedule. And so when you decided to become a coach, whether that was a year ago, 6 months ago, just recently, a few days ago, you have to somehow find time to schedule in this business. And so it's really important, especially at the beginning, just to remember that you're working for the future and not today. And so what do you want that future to look like? And that's kind of where I want this call to start, and how we can organize our time to be most efficient and to maximize that time so we can all get the kind of results that we're looking for. Just kind of for fun, we're all working with the same calendar. And so this quote was kind of one that hit home. Don't be fooled by the calendar. There are only as many days in the year as you make use of. One lady or man gets only a week's value out of a year, while another lady or man gets a full year's value out of a week. So that kind of goes into that same theme with just, whatever you're going to put into it, and I know just myself, some days I feel like freaking superwoman or something, like I'm on fire and just have, just knocking things off my list. And other days I'm like, dear God, what happened to this day? I got nothing done. And so that's where being organized and planning ahead really can make you not only personally more efficient, but also in this business. I'm kind of a stats girl, and I thought these kind of stats were fun. So there's 24 hours in a day and 365 days in a year, which equals 8,760 hours in a year, minus 8 hours of sleep, which for many of us, I know I'm being generous, that leaves 5,840 hours a year. 45 hours a week, we'll say you're working a full-time job or staying at home parent, which as a new one myself, I have so much respect for stay-at-home parents now, dear Lord. But anyway, that leaves 3,500 hours a year, which that leaves 67 hours a week that are absolutely free to build your dreams. And get a 30-minute workout in. And so when you think of it that way, you think, gee, 67 hours, what on earth am I doing with that extra time of mine? When you kind of start to think about this and how you want to format your business here, it's important to kind of keep in mind too that I know that all of us have ups and downs. Okay, life hands us things. We are, feeling like you've got the mojo of the world with you one minute, and the next minute crap happens, right? And you're frustrated, you're sad, maybe you're, have all these frustrated for different things. You're scared, things that are going on in your life. But if you can kind of tune into this fit family of ours and tune into the team and make your business really something that lifts you up and gives you energy and helps you push through those times that you're maybe a little bit more down in the dumps, that's really going to be how you keep that consistency. So kind of draw in and use us and use this team and use your business as something that brings you energy and lifts you up. So how many of you guys you should be posting, for example, on social media. I'm just going to use this example because this was totally me. And so you should be posting 3 to 5 times a day, and you start thinking and you're like, oh, I should be posting, but I didn't really plan ahead, so I'm not quite sure what I should be posting about. Let me go to Facebook and let me get some inspiration, or Instagram or Pinterest, and then pretty soon it's like, ooh, squirrel. And then you see something else that you're really into, and you just kind of get lost in the scrolling, and then you even forget why you were on there to begin with, right? Time wasters, people, okay? And you know it. There's lots of them. Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook scrolling, house. I love looking at house stuff. Online shopping, trashy magazines, Netflix, reality TV, wine nights, gossiping. It goes on. I'm not saying you can't do any of that stuff, because Lord knows we all take part in that stuff sometimes, but you just have to identify, the hours of the day that you're doing that and kind of decide, is this what I want to be doing right now? Or do I want to be making plans for the future? So where does your time go? If you don't have a system at all, so if you're just starting this, or if you have a system that is not working how you want it to be working, this is a good place to start. So you want to track your time. Just like we track our workouts and our food intake to see where we need to make changes, we need to track our time to find out where we can fit more in, where we can take something out, and where we can use our time more wisely and more efficiently. Okay, and so number one, if you don't have a planner, then we need to get you up to speed here, okay? Either paper or electronic, or you can use a combination of both. I know a lot of people use an electronic calendar, maybe for their personal life, and like a paper and pen. That's what I like anyway for my business stuff. Many people are just electronic. Do what works for you. For paper planners, many recommend the Passion Planner or ones by Erin Condren, just because they're so versatile and they allow for hourly tracking, which is really good for organizing, which we'll kind of get to in just a second. But you want to start by entering the highest priority tasks first. So that's your family time, that's your job, obviously, that you're spending time at. Maybe for some of you, it's church or other obligations that are kind of non-negotiables that you need to put in. And then start looking at the different hours and where your gaps are. And it could be different every day, absolutely. And that will be the time that you are going to be spending time on your Beachbody business. Okay, just kind of as an example of an hourly planner. There they are, yeah. So you can just kind of see, I know that's a really terrible picture there, but you can just kind of see how in the columns there, it's broken down by hours. And so when you are making your daily plan, you should maybe, highlighting as something that I love to do too, highlight in different colors, use yellow for family, green for your job, and blue for Beachbody. So whenever you're looking in your hours, you know that, okay, this is my gap of time right now. And this is where I have designated, I've pre-planned my time for working on my business. And so you can just see it as a glance. So you're not just going to plop down on the couch and start scrolling through the TV. You're doing whatever you want to do. So that's a good way to kind of stay organized. This quote is something that is really hit home for myself too. People often complain about lack of time when the lack of direction is the real problem. So knowing what to do during your designated precious time is absolutely key. So we found the time. So now where do we start? Okay, everybody is different. So you can't just, say, I can't just tell you, okay, you need to get up in the morning and that first hour when you first get up, you need to work out first and then you're going to work your business, because that's ridiculous. Okay, everybody's schedule is different. Your household might be up and clicking. Your kids might be up and you needing your attention in the morning, and maybe the morning you just want to sleep in. Maybe you're not a morning person. Maybe you come alive at night and that is when your energy is and that's when you want to work. So you need to find the time that works best for you. There's no set right way to do it, and people are successful doing it whenever it works for them. And so if you don't know where to start, you want to start by doing a little bit of self-reflection first. So where do you need to grow personally in your business? Okay, you kind of need to do a little evaluating for yourself. Is it social media posting that needs to get better? Is it inviting? Maybe you're not inviting. You kind of keep putting that off. Maybe that's the frog. If you guys have read that book, that you kind of keep putting off. That's my own personal frog that I'm trying to work on right now. Maybe it's building a team, advancing your coaches, your team culture, your relationships with customers, messaging. Maybe you're just not so good with wording, personal growth, your challenge groups, email lists, system leads, blogging, etc. Okay. There are so many things that we can think, oh my gosh, and just get so overwhelmed by all this. But you guys pick just two, and start working on those areas first. And don't try to fix like all 10 at the same time. Otherwise, that's, a quick ticket to nowheresville. Okay. You're going to get so overwhelmed and just not even want to do anything. And that's when you're going to plop down and start scrolling. So, and then you want to look at, okay, so where am I spending too much time? And these are your business time wasters. Do you spend hours on one image for social media? For making a social media post? Do you spend hours finding wording just for one post? Do you overanalyze each message or each interaction you're having with a customer before sending it? Maybe you're scared to send it because you don't know if it's quite right, or if you're being too formal or too informal, or that sort of a thing. So you want to just identify. Nothing's right or wrong yet. We're just looking and just identifying where these time wasters might be coming from. Okay, so after you've done those first steps, then first and foremost, okay, we all have talked about obviously the power hour. And many, as I've been doing my own research and listening and doing own personal growth, many coaches, top coaches, preach a power half hour, and they really think that you should be able to get all the essentials done in literally 30 minutes. Okay, that's adding 3 people, relating to 3 new people, either by liking comments or photos or sending those hey girl messages that we've all talked about, checking your messages. And this was something new to me too. I am like obsessed with trying to answer everybody all at once. And I just sometimes get a little scatterbrained because I might be in the middle of something and I check my phone and it's just nuts business hours, and I'll kind of set that later. But this is kind of cool to only respond to messages that you know are from new customers or you know are urgent from one of your coaches during that power hour or during the power half hour. Then later in the day, if you do happen to have some extra spare time, then you can go back and answer those other questions. Because as you go on, you know, you will have those customers that are just sending you goofy questions about everything here and there. And literally, if you don't answer them, probably within an hour, they're going to be like, oh, never mind, I found it on here, you know, that sort of thing. So don't waste your time with that, okay? Just do the very essential responding during your power hour or during your power half hour. Making social media posts, okay, which usually should already be done via a scheduler, and I'll kind of talk a little bit briefly about that too. Check into the team page, our Persevere page, and then check into your challenge groups that you're either running personally, or I know a lot of people have challengers and other challenge groups, so it's so important for you to be checking in with not only those challengers, but being engaged in the group and really being a presence in there, because that's what gets the energy level up and makes other people engaged as well. So you should be able to get all of those that I just mentioned done in a half hour, which obviously does not include your workout, and it does not include the personal development that we are talking about. Many people do personal development from an audio source now too, and so like would listen to it in their car, and I'll touch briefly on that later too. But so that was not included in the power half hour. Okay, just to give you, this is something that was kind of cool that I found, and it just gives a really neat visual breakdown of a power hour or your power half hour, whatever. I'm kind of a visual person, and so I have printed off some of these, and I'm starting to use them every time just to kind of start tracking. So when you're doing business posts, obviously that number 2 box, yesterday's post likes. So if you made a business post or somebody commented on one of your fitness posts or something about a challenge group that you had, write down the names of everybody that liked that post, and those would be kind of your next leads or people that you might want to start messaging and having some interactions with. You can also track your new combos, the people that you want to invite, the people that you followed up with or you want to follow up with, go in that other box. And then just because it's fun to check things off, even down on the bottom, there's a spot for your personal development, whether you worked out or not, and whether you drink your Shakeology. But this was kind of just a different way. I know we have many, or at least a really good one in our Persevere site too, that I think Jill put together that's awesome. And this is just another one that I happened upon. So we can put that one in there, and depending on how you like to organize yourself, you can use one or the other, either way, or make your own. Okay. So just to kind of give you a broad overview about important weekly tasks that should be kind of a part of your routine and part of what you should be thinking about as you're scheduling and organizing your time. These are some examples that should happen sometime throughout the week. Okay, your power hour or half hour. You want to be inviting people to challenge groups and following up with past interests. Invite to join your team. So those would be like the business op posts and stuff that Monica was just talking about. You can either make a help wanted post or through personal messaging. Check in with personally sponsored coaches if you have them, and if you don't, that's fine, you will. Coach calls or getting started calls, or if you have your own team, those would be your team calls. Following up with leads, checking your downline, and that's your online office too that Monica was telling us about. Check in with your groups, like I've mentioned, create scripts that work for you, and share them with your team if you have a team. But that's going to be key. And I know that we've talked at length, and if you're new to this, I know you're probably thinking, oh dear God, but we have a spot on our Persevere website that has every script in there that you could possibly want. So it's important to remember to utilize those, and you can tweak them to make them your own, but there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. So you should have automatic responses for a lot of, especially the beginning questions that your potential customers or new coaches would have. And then make posts and images for the week. So, creating them ahead of time, so you're not trying to go by the seat of your pants and just say, oh, I haven't posted all today, I need to make something. Okay, really sitting down and doing that, perhaps and I'll kind of talk about that like on a Sunday, or doing that ahead of time is going to make your week a lot easier and less stressful for you. Okay, so now that you have an idea of what needs to be done, and you have found your time, because we've tracked our hours of the day, you found your time to work on Beachbody. Now you want to take that time and the tasks that fit into that time frame and set a timer. Okay, and this is something that I am still working to do myself personally. I've tried it a few times and it really does help. It's hard for me to cut myself off, but it makes you so much more efficient. So for an example, let's say like Monday, on your schedule, you listed your important things and you found the time that you can designate to Beachbody onto your business. Okay, so let's not say that's 45 minutes to work. You have a little bit extra time on Monday. So you want to work on your upcoming challenge group and checking in with your coaches. So here's how you could divide that time up. Okay, you could designate 20 minutes to that's power half hour tasks. Kind of those same tasks that would be in that. 10 minutes to messaging your personally sponsored coaches, 10 minutes to messaging challenge group potentials or following up with past people who are interested, and then 5 minutes designated to making a post about your challenge group. So that would be 45 minutes, and you literally would set your timer to 20 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and 5 minutes, and just cut yourself off. When your time is done, your time is done, and then you move on. And that will make sure that you cover the things that you need to cover in that time slot and for your designated time. Okay, so here are some tips and tricks that I think will help you guys maximize your time. Okay, auto schedulers. This is something that I mentioned previously. I think a lot of us on Team Persevere use Sendable, and if you don't know what that is, it's we can help you get set up with that. It's the same thing as Buffer or Hootsuite. It's a minimal cost. I think it's like $9 or something like that a month, and you can run up to, I can't remember, 5 or 6. Monica can chime in either now or at the end, either way. Groups, but and that's really good for scheduling posts, not only for your challenge groups if you're running them, but also for your personal page or for your like page if that's something that you have. And if you don't have a like page, don't worry about it. You don't need one yet if you're just starting, but eventually you'll want to transition to that. And Sundays seem to be a really nice day to plan for a lot of people, but again, do what works for you. But try to designate one day during the day to kind of get your week set. Okay, I guess Sundays work well because obviously the week starts the next day. But if you fail to plan, you're kind of planning to fail because you're not going to have a plan and you're just going to be flying willy-nilly by the seat of your pants, and you're going to be extremely inefficient when you have that precious time designated to your business. So plan your week of posts, and that means the images and the wording. I think sometimes we think that like our workout posts have to be in current time, and you have to have the sweat of that day on your image. Okay, nobody's going to know whether or not you just worked out literally or not. And of course, we're all walking the walk and doing these things anyway. So whether this was a picture you took last week or in the moment, or yesterday, nobody's going to know. So get your images set up ahead of time, come up with a wording, come up with something that you want to put with that post and your idea, and just have it ready to go. You can put it in the notes section of your phone. You can, if you're putting it on the image, have it ready to go. Just have it saved in your photos on your phone. So bam, you can schedule it and go. And then, you plan your weeks of posting. That's what, I already said that one. But also, this is another thing too. In your scheduler, I started doing this and it makes such a huge difference, you guys. Scheduling out kind of, if you have a hard time doing social media posts, which is what I did, start with 3 posts a day and just plan them out ahead of time and start to look. And so you're balancing out what you are posting about. You don't want to be just doing all fitness posts all the time or doing all recipes all the time or posting about Shakeology every single day, because people are going to be like, seriously, girl, like, why would I want to follow you? And so you want to make sure that you have a nice balance of, workout stuff, of whether you're doing your kids or your cats and dogs or your, recipes, whatever it is, and just kind of have a nice ebb and flow to your weekly schedule of posting. And people kind of start to expect things from you. We have Monday motivation, Transformation Tuesday, Water Wednesday, or Wacky Wednesday, Flex Friday, so people kind of come to expect those things, but you can plan ahead and kind of make those come to fruition in different ways. And so it's not always the same thing. So anyway, okay, another tip, use a timer. We just talked about that. That really helps keep you efficient and on the ball. Audio personal development, I mentioned that earlier too, okay? Whether you're in the shower, whether you're on a walk or on a run, whether you're in the car, those are kind of those precious wasted minutes that a lot of times we're not using to the fullest of our ability. And so if you can knock out some personal development, I mean, that's a great way to get it done. And not to mention, you're going to come out of wherever you are feeling great, okay? Because it always is uplifting. Set your alarm for 15 minutes earlier. This was a tip that another coach gave, and you won't even really notice in the grand scheme of things. You know, if you set if all your clocks say 7 o'clock and you're getting up at 6 o'clock, though, you're going to think it's 7 and you're not even going to know the difference. In 15 minutes in the grand scheme of your 24-hour day, you're not going to realize, but that's 15 concentrated minutes that you can get a lot done. Okay, a power hour or your business time does not have to be all at one time. If it works better for you to do 10, 15-minute increments a few times a day, then do that. And that would be a great 15-minute concentrated time to get that done. When you have family time, be clear with your family on your goals and priorities. This is a huge one, you guys. I don't know how many of you guys have wives or husbands or partners or whoever that are wondering what the heck you're doing at night when you come home from your other job and they're tired, they're coming home, you're on your phone, you're trying to get calls done, okay? And they're wondering, what are you doing, you know? Okay, so it's so important to communicate what your goals are and how this is gonna help the family and what you need from them and the kind of support that you need from them. Be clear on what kind of time that you're trying to do. But then on the flip side, when it's your time to have family time, be 100% present with them, okay? 100% unplugged. Nobody likes spending time with somebody who's looking at their phone all the time and trying to, do two things at once. You just feel like there's a disconnect. And so be fully present with your family when it's that time, but then also be clear about what your needs and goals are and how that's going to help the family as a whole. Okay, and then another thing that's just so important to keep in mind is just short-term sacrifices are going to lead to long-term rewards. Okay, this is not something that happens quickly. There is a lot of work that goes into, especially beginning coaches. You just feel like you're kind of spinning your wheels for a long time, putting in a lot of hard work and maybe not seeing as much in return as you want right away. But once you get that ball of momentum going, it just kind of picks up, and I promise it gets easier. It really does. And you get your routines, you get your habits set in, you get your systems, you get yourself organized, and it just kind of starts to work like clockwork. And that's when things really start clicking. And I really think that you're going to see some great things from your business. Okay, one last thing I kind of wanted to touch on here. And this may not apply to everyone yet, but it's good to be thinking about it so you can plan ahead as you do get some personally sponsored coaches. One thing for staying organized and using your time wisely is to keep in mind the 80-20 rule. Okay, 80% of your designated business time should go to your own business. Okay, and 20% should go to helping your coaches. Because if that gets too much out of whack, where you're just pouring yourself fully and all the spare time that you have for your business into only your coaches, then your business is going to start to suffer. So kind of just keep that in mind. When you do have a proper schedule, share what you're learning with your team. Absolutely. If something's working for you, you want to share that with your sponsored coaches. Monica is a great example of this. She shares so much with us and puts so much on our page and really makes it as easy as it can get for us. And so never hesitate to ask your coach, whether that's her or somebody else on our team, because that's kind of our culture here on this team, is we want to share. There's no reason to keep anything because we want to build each other up and help each other, because that only helps our whole team and all of us personally. Provide each new coach a month template to follow on your system that is appropriate to their goals and the pace that they want to work. Okay, so just for an example, like how we know when our business opportunity calls are going to be. We know when certain challenge groups are going to be starting if you're not running your own groups right now. And so you can kind of start to post and make your schedule according to that. So that's something you want to be sharing with your team like we have. Help your personally sponsored coaches reverse engineer their goals. So for example, if you have coaches that are shooting for Emerald, you're going to want them to focus heavily on recruiting. And if they're shooting for Diamond, then you're going to want them to focus half of their time on recruiting and half of their time on developing their Emeralds. And so you kind of help them break those goals down. And then ask your team what holds them up and what is working on, ask what's holding them up when working on their business tasks. So for example, like I said, are you wasting your time creating images, like spending an hour on making one image or trying to get the wording just right? Ask your coaches that. What is holding you up? And then try to create systems that work for us, or that can help your coaches out on that. And I just can't say again how nice it is to have those kinds of systems in place on Team Persevere here. We have images that we can use. We have scripts that we can use. And, you know, and I think anybody, if you're following, we should all be following each other as coaches anyway. And if you're seeing people posting things that you think are super cool, or how did you create that? Or that's so neat. You mind if I use that? Absolutely. Okay. Message them or text them or whatever it is. And I mean, I guarantee you most of us are willing to share freely. If it's not like personalized or something, obviously you'd want to change it to fit your needs. But those are the kinds of things that we should not be spending a long amount of time on, because we should have things created that we can just grab and then personalize to what we need easily. So pretty cool. So I have a little assignment for you guys, especially if you're new to coaching. I want you guys tomorrow to not change one single thing that you normally do. And I want you to track every second of your day. So what are you doing? From the time that your feet hit the floor in the morning to the time that your head hits the pillow at night, I want you to look at your day and find where you can fit in that 10 to 30 minutes for Beachbody time. And then I want you to share a picture of your tracked day, if you can, on our Persevere page. And if you try using a timer for the first time, I would love to hear whether you thought that was helpful or not, or if you thought it was annoying or whatever. That's just a tip. You don't have to, you do that or not, but it's one way to stay efficient and help maximize your time. So anyway, that's all I got. And so if you guys have questions, I'd love to answer any. Otherwise, other people can chime in as well.
I cannot say, I mean, I was taking so many notes myself. That you are a rock star. Like, that was an awesome call. This is one that I'm definitely going to have to go back and rewatch because I get kind of in a rut just like the rest of you, and, things kind of get out of whack. And so it's always a great reminder of what things to go back to and, where to start. So I want to reiterate a couple of things that Ali talked about. My favorite thing, and I just saw another coach post about this the other day, is how we should think of every day like a bank. Every day we have, I think it's 86,400 seconds deposited into our bank that we can use. And so what are you going to do with that time? Like, how are you going to use that effectively? And so it's crazy to think about how much time we really have. And sometimes how much time we're wasting. And my other favorite thing is, a lot of the tips and tricks that she, talked about, that we always talk about on Team Persevere, those are great ones to remember. The power hour, you guys know I live and die by the power hour. I built my business in 2.5 years working just an hour a day because I was still teaching. So for those of you new coaches that are coming on and feeling super overwhelmed, like you have to do 500 million things, just focus on the 3 vital behaviors and working in that 30 minutes to an hour of time. And, like she said, the ball's going to get rolling and the momentum's going to get rolling. And so that's why I'm super excited about the assignment and tracking. I did want to tell y'all a little tip. So obviously we have the Persevere planner that has, the different time slots for you to use. But I just found a brand new planner that I love. It's a little bit cheaper than the Erin Condren one, which is my favorite, but I got it on Amazon for like $24. And it literally breaks it down so you can do exactly that. You can go through and you can highlight. But the other cool thing is that it has a place in here for you to write out your monthly goals, your weekly goals, and then reverse engineering, which is what we talk about all the time. So I'll share that link on Amazon for you guys so that you can see that. And then my favorite quote that she talked about was the short-term sacrifice that's going to lead to long-term results. I am a reality TV junkie. And so when I had to do some self-reflecting, I realized I was wasting a lot of time watching a lot of nonsense TV that wasn't doing anything. And so not that I don't still do that, I do. I just cut it down and I put it specifically into my calendar. So I have my DVR and it's going, and sometimes even when I'm working or doing my power half hour, I'll have it going on the TV versus completely unplugging from everything and watching or binge watching 2 hours of reality TV. So I'm going to stop recording.